What's up, Southlake fam? I'm going to give it a few minutes to let everybody get back on here. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. It's just a little Q&A for everybody. Just, hey, Jill, how you doing? Again, just doing a little Q&A. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, any concerns, suggestions, just have a little conversation for tonight. What's up, Jimmy? Hey, Rochelle, how are you? And for our YouTubers out there, right now I'm live on Facebook, and again, it's just a little Q&A session going on. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, drop it down in the comments, and either Joe, I, or Jamie will get back to you. Definitely get back to you. Don't forget to hit subscribe and that like button. This way you guys will know every time we go to post a video. Um, so yeah, what's up, Joe? That you're on. I want to try and do a little experiment since we're not in the same place at once. Um, I'm going to try and camera share with you if you're down for it, and see if we can get you on like a little corner camera type thing. I'm going to give it a shot. I don't know if it'll let me do it. Remember how we tried to do the camera share before? Where I think one of us requested to be on camera at the same time. I'm wondering if we can do that again. But I think you might have to do it on your end. Yeah, Rochelle, since you're watching, do you have any questions for us or anything like that? Yeah, it looks like this is going to be an exciting one. All right, we're getting some more people. Good. Okay. Again, to recap, this is just a Q&A, you know, just to get a little conversation going between us and our followers, you know. Any kind of questions, comments, anything like that, suggestions, go ahead, throw them up in the comment box. Same thing for our YouTubers. Throw them down there in the comment section, and we'll get to you. Oh, little update on our merchandise. I've been having an issue with our supplier Teespring. They've pulled all of our merch because it isn't selling as well as it needs to. I've been going round and round with them for about a week and a half. Sent another 2 emails out today, and unfortunately, that's the only correspondence I'm able to have with them is with email. Um, I've been working with one specific guy over there, and he's trying to get our products relaunched. So if anybody's been trying to go to our store, unfortunately, you're not going to find anything right now. Um, but it's pretty frustrating. So hopefully, I'll get that squared away soon, and I'll get that handled. You want to touch on anything, Joe? No, nobody. Am I missing a bunch of stuff? Oh shit! Sorry about that, guys. I My comments weren't updating. My apologies. Our next investigation. Great question, Rochelle. And yeah, Joe, a bunch of business bullshit. How to stop a bitchy baby. Yeah, maybe she's teething. That's about right. Yeah, she is teething, actually. Um, Rochelle, our next investigation, we are unsure of right now. Um, because of the weather and everything like that. I mean, we have permissions to go to a bunch of places, but really feel like freezing our asses off right now. So we're trying to wait for the weather to start warming up and be a little bit more copacetic for it. So I know Joe was talking to me today about a possible investigation at Waverly Hills. I don't want to get everybody too excited about it because it's still fresh. Um, Him and I are going to need sit down and really hash out the details on it, but that's just an idea that we've been kicking around. Um, Again, there's the Celestian School for Boys in Cedar Lake. Again, it's something that's got to be weather permitting. Um, we know a bunch of our followers have some issues in their homes, but actually, getting them to open up their homes to us to do that is is kind of rough because one, they either don't want the attention drawn to them, or they don't want to stir up anything that could be malevolent or stuff like that. Hey, Ruben, what's up, buddy? So, sorry, eyes are like super tired. Um, yeah. So as far as investigations, I mean, when it warms up, we'll probably hit the tried and true again. You know, um, I kind of have a feeling that we're going to be doing Posey again, and we'll probably doing. I really don't want to go back to Indiana Bridge. I really don't want to go back there, but just to keep everything relevant, we might be going back there. Um, I definitely want to do St. Michael, the Archangel Cemetery in Cherville, but um, the logistics are a little rough on that one because we would need parish permission and stuff like that. So, any other questions out there? Shar, you come up with something? Yeah, it's just me on here tonight, guys. Sorry. You know, I just kind of got a little wild hair up my ass, and just felt like just doing it. I never even. I was by Joe's today for Phoenix's birthday. She just turned 5 on Thursday, and I didn't even think about going live when I was there. I just happened to be on my way home from there, and I'm like, fuck it, just gonna go live. So here I am. Wish I was a better watch. Sorry. Hey, James. Wave anymore. Weird. I have to add you? The hell? I don't know what that means, Joe. You were just on here. Add you in what? The group? Corner thing you were talking about. I don't know how. Shit. All right, let me try something here. Oh, that ain't it. Uh, that ain't working. Yeah, I don't know how to add you on that, man. I think you would have to, since you're an admin, you would click on an icon and requesting to be on camera, and then I would accept if you're able to do that. But it's not giving me an option to just add you. All right, whatever. Don't worry about it. Okay. It's been the most interesting investigation we've ever done. That's a great question, Rochelle, because we've done a number of extremely interesting investigations. Um, one of which stands out. All of our followers know this particular place, and we reference it every single time we're live. I mean, because it was just it, it was an amazing experience. This was Posey Chapel and Cemetery in LaPorte, and we actually had a few pretty pretty good things happen to us. One, Joel got affected by one of the spirits there, um, and he actually like fell out, like laid out on his back. You heard him hit the floor, you heard him hit the ground, everything. And then once we got him onto his feet, because when that happened, I actually killed the live feed. Um, and a bunch of us didn't, or a bunch of the followers didn't actually see, what followed up. We went live again once we were back in the truck on our way back to the house. But once we got him up, his feet were stuck, like he couldn't take a stop. Um, and he actually had to tell it to let it let him go. Um, and after it felt like an eternity, but I think it was only maybe a minute and a half. Um, he was actually finally able to move, and then I'm sorry, excuse me, he vomited. Um, I kind of pulled the plug on that investigation a little too quickly, only because of experiences I've had before, and there was nothing really malevolent about that. Exactly, Joel. Posey. Yes, and our first shot at Indiana Bridge. Ugh, hate that fucking place. But anyway, um, I pulled the plug on that investigation that night over at Posey a little too quickly. Because after everything was said and done, you know, we kind of realized that it wasn't anything malevolent. It was pretty much like you go to Posey, you're going to see a lot of high school kids just going there because it's urban lore. You know, um, everybody wants to go for a thrill and all this other bullshit, and they really don't know how to interact with anything like that. And this was probably one of the first times that the spirits actually ever experienced anybody who was truly trying to interact with them and really didn't know how to do it. And it just affected him adversely. And, and that's what happened. Um, if I would have allowed the time to sit back and think about it and regroup, we would have probably continued with that investigation that night. Joel wanted to continue. Uh, Kristen was kind of on the same page with me, only because she'd never really experienced something like that before. But I erred on the side of caution and called it. And it was that same night that I had a shard of headstone thrown at me and hit me in the foot, and it stopped me dead on my tracks. Um, we Everything was supposed to be archived in our videos on our channel. For some reason, that video is gone. It's missing. I can't find it. Joe can't find it. Jamie can't find it. But this thing stopped me dead on my tracks, and you heard it hit. You heard it bounce off the concrete, and I was like, "The fuck!" So I turned the light on, and there it was. And it's about yay big, only about that thick. Um, if you look at if you go to our first podcast, we actually show that shard because Joe took it home. We show that shard in the video, and you'd be able to get a better idea of what it was. I mean, it wasn't something small. Um, so yeah, you're right. It kind of the high school kids. Hey, Linda, how you doing? The high school kids kind of look at Posey as like, scare your girlfriend night. Joe has the perfect description of that because that's how they treat it. And then Indiana Bridge. I don't even like talking about this fucking place. There is something, you know, I don't like to throw the word demonic out very often, especially when I'm describing a certain place, because a lot of times spirits can get um, they can get tagged demonic when it's actually not. But this place, I have no doubt there's a demon there. I have no doubt whatsoever there is a demon at Indiana Bridge. It has attached itself to me once. It tried a second time, and that investigation is actually in our archives. You can go in you can go in our our videos, and you can actually find it. Um, that night, it actually tried to attach itself to me. It felt like I described it. So Johnny, last time we talked about this, I kind of described it as, if you're familiar with like a weighted comforter, that people use for like anxiety and shit like that. It felt like it was something like that wrapped around me, but it was ice cold and I couldn't move. It was just that tight. And the longer I felt this, the angrier I was getting. It was so negative. It wasn't human. I honestly don't believe there could be a human spirit that negative. Um, and then further, other investigations we had there, we had the spirit box that we used, the SB7 spirit box, and the same name kept coming up over and over. Heather? Joe, it was Heather, right? Indiana Bridge is in Lowell. um, Over at by Kankakee Valley Marsh. I believe the name was Heather that kept coming up. And yeah, we have the voice recording too. All the EVPs and everything like that, everything that we were able to decipher, I've put on our page, so you can find it there too, Rochelle. Um, but the voice coming through the spirit box just kept, it was leading us, okay, and it finally led us to the water's edge, or well, not necessarily the water's edge, but when you come up in the parking lot and you walk the gravel parking lot, you get to the river line. It's kind of like a ravine down to the river, but at the specific spot where she stopped us was just a sheer drop. No guard railing, no nothing, just a drop. And yeah, I thought it was Heather. And I remember Joe standing there, and I'm telling him, like, dude, back the fuck up. It's dark. I mean, he was like an inch from the edge, his toe was like an inch from the edge. I'm like, just back up, man. You know? And it seemed like he was ignoring me, but he wasn't. And he finally told me, he goes, I can't move. Oh, great. So finally, after a few minutes, he was able to move, and he stepped back and everything like that. But I can tell you my first experience at Indiana Bridge. Now this was back in the day before they revamped the bridge. It used to be this wooden covered bridge with just two wood tire paths straight across it and gravel in between it, in between the paths. Um, the myth was, hey Brett, how you doing, dear? The myth was, if you stopped your car in the middle of the bridge, put it in neutral, take your foot off the brake and all that, the car would drift forward off the bridge. And if you put baby powder on the back bumper or the back deck lid, you'd see little handprints. And they're supposedly the handprints of the ghosts of children that have drowned. Or, no, I'm sorry. There was a school bus that something happened and kids died on the bridge, and they pushed the ghost would push your car off the bridge. We tried that. Yes, it worked. It worked well. But once we got the car back and got it parked and we started walking around checking shit out, you're looking south. So that would be what? The west part of the bank, right across the street from Al Capone's mansion, which you really don't want to fuck with. Um, do we ever worry? Yeah, it kind of looked like a miniature skyway, except wooden. Do we ever worry that anything will permanently attach? Great question. I will answer that. Um, but I want to finish this because Rochelle asked us about previous investigations, and I want to make sure I answer everybody's question. Um, so west of the bank, down west of the bank and all that, about three of us, we saw this thing crouched over. It's cloaked black, and this thing stands up. Now it had to be 100, 150 yards away, and this thing was massive. Fuck it. I mean, if it was standing in front of you, it'd be 10, 15 feet tall. I mean, it was just cloaked, yellow eyes, and you can clearly see the yellow eyes. And we were like, holy shit, let's go. So we piled in my car, and at that time, I had a Grand Dam that had quite a bit of work done to it. So it was fast for what it was, pretty powerful. I could get my car over 25 miles an hour, which is an issue, obviously. I look in my rearview mirror, and there are two glowing yellow eyes right above my back spoiler. Bullshit. Drop everybody off. Yeah, yeah. I think your experience was different than that one. I went with that suck ass Ryan that worked for me over at Midas that night. No, I think you and Jamie were with us too, because we all met up at Midas that night. Yeah. But anyway, it like I said, these fucking glowing eyes were right above my spoiler. Finally, everybody dropped off, and there's a cemetery on Cottage Grove over in Glenwood, Assumption Cemetery. It's a Catholic cemetery. Um, my family's buried there, grandparents, aunts, uncles. In this tradition, you drive by, you do the sign of the cross, all the, yeah, at the front gate, you get to the back fence, you do it again, and you're supposed to say a prayer in between. I hit the front gate, I did the sign of the cross, and, I asked God, can you get this thing, off of me? If you do, I promise I'll never do this again, da 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 da. I hit the back gate. I made the sign of the cross again. As soon as I finished with the sign of the cross, the back end of my car lifted up and took off like a bat out of hell. And those eyes were gone. That was the last time I actually did anything with the paranormal until, wow, a couple years ago. And this had to be 12, 13 years ago, you know? So there's a good 10-year gap that I didn't mess with this shit anymore. Um, and I'm sure you're going to ask why, you know, why I got back into it and all that, especially with making that pact with God and everything. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this feeling or whatever, but I felt a pull, and I always have. I, Even when I was a kid, I experienced stuff. And even after that pact, I just felt a pull to it, you know, and it wasn't just curiosity, and it's turned into a passion, but it was a lot more than that to me. That's why I did it. And being Catholic and all that, and I truly believe God understands, you know. So I don't feel guilty for doing it again. Because, like I said, I honestly believe God understands. Um, so, yeah, those were probably the most standout investigations that I've done, anyway. I'm quite certain Joe has more stories or, about investigations that he's been on that I haven't been with, stuff like that. Um, Now, I'm getting to that right now. And getting to Linda's question about, I'll just read it again. Do you ever worry that an entity could permanently attach itself? Yes, yes, and it's very very possible if you don't protect yourself properly. Um, but again, that question of protection, it, it's kind of a catch-22 because let's say you work in a physical environment. How much work are you going to be able to get done if you completely wrap yourself in bubble wrap? Not much. And it kind of feels that's the same way with spiritual protection. If there's too much, then you're not going to get any interaction. You're not going to get any results, any proof. That's what we're looking for is proof. Um, but if there's not enough protection or performed properly, or used properly, I should say, then yes, you definitely run the risk of an attachment. Um, a permanent attachment, you're talking something a lot stronger than your average demon or your average human spirit. Um, Normally, depending on your faith, your spirituality, whatever you want to call it, um, there, there are remedies or there are practices that can take care of an attachment to release you from the attachment. Um, or rituals or anything like that, but I do know the rituals, if they're not done properly, if they're not done right, if they're not if they're not followed through correctly by the person that has the attachment, it won't work. Um, I know a lot of rituals that would actually require people to be alone during the ritual because these things can jump from one person to the next. Um, and again, it also ties along in with your faith. Um, a lot of Christians believe that their faith in Christ is stronger than anything that could possibly attach itself to them. That's true. Um, and there's a lot of posers out there that will say the exact same thing, and then yep, there's an attachment because they're fucking around with stuff they don't know about, and they're they come out, yeah, I'm holier than God, and all this other bullshit, I'm a Bible thumper, however the fuck you want to put it, and it's all on the surface. Okay, and that's when people get in trouble. So the Azazel theory, yeah, yes, spirits jumping from one host to another. That's perfect. You know, um, God, what movie was that? It was Denzel Washington too. I was just about to reference that movie, but I couldn't remember the name of it. Um, Shit. If you guys remember the name of that movie, go ahead, drop it in the comments. But yeah, it's the same theory. The demon Azazel passes himself from one person to another by touch, and if the person's spirit is stronger than that demon, it won't allow the transfer. Same theory. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Fallen, yes, yeah, great fucking movie too, great movie. But did I hope I answered your question, Linda. I mean, I answered the best I could. If there's anything that you're still confused on, or um, I need to dive deeper into, please let me know. So, Nick, what's up, cuz? How you doing, Courtney? If you guys are wondering, it's just Pepsi. Huh. I'm gonna have to edit that out for YouTube. Copyright issues. This might not even go on YouTube. I don't know. It was a pretty slow start. All right, thank you. Okay. Do you have any other questions, Linda? I mean, again, I mean, it also for our investigations, once we do start kicking off these investigations again, anybody's welcome. The only thing we ask is, it's a little bit of professionalism when we do it. We're not out to disrespect anything. We're not out to disrespect anybody else. So that's it. I mean, anybody is welcome to come with us. Especially with these larger places, like if and when we do the Celestian School for Boys in Cedar Lake, it's a fairly large place, and for just Joe and I to do it, I don't think we'd be able to do the place justice. I mean, we would need at least another 2 or 3 people. At least 1 or 2 more cameras, and a few more pieces of equipment and stuff like that. That people can run their own experiments on, their own little investigations, use their own little techniques, stuff like that. Then the larger places, we're going to definitely need people to go. So if you guys come along with us to the smaller investigations, you actually will be able to get a feel of how they're supposed to be ran, and you kind of get your feet wet. This way, when we get to the larger ones and you're out on your own, you're able to, better, better investigate. And yeah, Joe, I touched on Waverly earlier. Waverly Hills is in Tennessee, and it's a sanatorium that was shut down back in the 80s, and the state of Tennessee has opened it up to the public for the paranormal investigations. It is one of the most haunted sites in the world, not just the country or the state of Tennessee, in the world. And this summer, we are going to, it's okay. This summer we're going to really try to get down there for a weekend investigation of this place. All the big names have been there, and this is also when all the big names needed permission to go there. Or the network they're affiliated with, the cable network they're affiliated with, got them the permission to go. But we kind of want to dip our toes into that water too. You know, I mean, it's kind of exciting. So, maybe the boys' school, we can handle just us two. But again, something like that, maybe another couple people won't hurt. You know, I mean, the place is small as Posey, and I mean, if you guys, obviously, I don't think many of you guys have been to Posey Chapel and Cemetery out in the port. If you guys are like cemetery buffs and all this stuff, I would highly recommend taking a ride out to Posey Cemetery during the day. The place is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's LaPorte County takes care of this place, and it seems like they use freaking scissors to cut the grass, and they maintain it very, very well. The place is gorgeous. Um, the same thing for St. Michael the Archangel in Cherville. Yeah, Hell's Portal. um, Again, during the day, the place is amazing also. And I actually did get some activity during the day in that joint too. Now I don't know if we'll be able to find the same kind of activity. It was weird. Last time Joe and I were there, everything was on the outside of the um, of the cemetery, and nothing really on the inside anymore. But you got any more questions, comments, anything like that? You just want me to sit in the camera and look pretty for a minute? I don't know. Oh, that sucks. Smoking the eye. Ouch. All right. No more comments, questions, anything like that? Anybody? Oh, that was funny. Thanks. Yeah, I am sporting one of our V-necks. So as soon as I can get that line going again, I'll let everybody know. It's been a pain in the ass dealing with these people. Oh, good. Has your thought or ideas of demons or demonology changed since we started? Great question, Joe. And I'm glad you posed it on here instead of, you know, instead of just us two talking. I mean, this would have been a great conversation topic between the two of us too. But on here, I like that. Um, my 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 opinions on demons and demonology has changed a little bit. You know, getting more of an understanding of what we're actually dealing with has helped quite a bit with that. Um, I think we've experienced both ends of the spectrum between uh, negative and positive as far as spirits and and demons go. And do I believe all demons are evil? Yeah, I do. Do I believe they're all malevolent? No. Um, in my opinion, a demon is inherently evil. Okay, hence it's a demon. There are, I do believe there are types of demons though that aren't out to harm. You know, they're not going to put themselves out to do the right thing, obviously, but they're not just gonna come and eyelash. But they're not just gonna come and harm, you know. And then there are yes, they're the other ones that their sole purpose is to create chaos and harvest souls. On the flip side, dealing with the angelic, um, honestly, if I'm going to come across something, if I have my choice to come across something angelic versus demonic, I would probably prefer to come across something demonic. Um, Angels, yes, they're the protection and this and that and the messengers, and I've come to realize that a lot. I'm trying to choose my words. Um, I'm trying to choose the correct words to use, and it's kind of not easy because this is also something that's still a little jumbled up in my head. Um, let's use the angel of death for instance. You want to meet him? Neither do I. Okay. Do you want to encounter him? Do you want to battle him? Do you want to square up? You're gonna fucking lose. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're gonna lose. You come across a demon, you got a pretty good shot of beating him. You got a pretty good shot of coming out on top. He's gonna fuck you up, but you'll live. You can move on. Come across the angel of death, and you're done. You got no shot. Um, I don't know. I guess that also would also come down to a question of faith as well. You know, as far as thoughts on demonology and demons, and like I said, when you talk demons, you got to talk angels because they're honestly they're one and the same. Demons are downstairs, the angels are upstairs, but demons are hell's angels. That's so it's also a matter of faith. Spirituality. Yeah, I know. I know my answer was like really all over the fucking place, but that's kind of how it is in my head, and it's really hard to answer that. You know, um, why if angels were supposed to be made with no free will and they're jealous of humans, which was the cause of the angelic war and all that. They're jealous of humans because of our free will. Um, if they have no free will, how are they going to start a war? How are they going to rebel against God? How is Lucifer going to be banished for speaking out against God, for acting against God, and being, the fallen angel if he's not supposed to have free will? You know, safe. I don't understand that. What's up, Matt? What's going on, Dave? Yeah, Joe, I don't understand the safe comment. But, so, like I said, I mean, to answer that question, it kind of comes down to spirituality and your faith. And honestly, I just have too many questions that nobody can answer. No, I have yet to come across any religious scholar that can answer that question specifically. If angels were supposed to be made with that to have absolute no free will, how could Lucifer willingly defy God and be banished down to hell for it if he's not supposed to have free will? And I guess, yes, okay, my answer was safe. But that's the truth in my head. I mean, it's, as far as my thoughts on angels and demons, or as you put, the demons and demonic, like I said, everything was just really, it's still kind of mixed up in my head right now. Um, you and I have experienced too much shit for it not to be, mixed up in my head. I mean, do I believe demons exist? Yes, yes, 100%. Do I believe they deserve all of the blame people are putting on them? As far as when it comes down to the paranormal, no, I don't. I think there is a very big misconstrued understanding of demonic versus spirit. So there's my answer. All right. Yes, Joe, and that was your theory, the whole free will thing. That was, and it got me. I've been stewing on that for the last 6 fucking months, and I have been researching. And you know me, when I get something in my head, I don't let it go till I find out the fucking answer. And there isn't a theologian out there that can answer that question for me. They can't, because if they were to answer that question in any kind of form where they'd be completely definite on either or, it would completely blow the entire dogma of the Catholic Church out of the water. Basically, it would show that God would be fallible instead of infallible, for one. And if that happens, there goes all of Christianity and everything. Done. Um, so yeah, yeah, your theory, but it's been fucking with me for a long time. Linda, have you ever used a Ouija board? What were your thoughts on them? I have. I will never use one again, nor will I ever use one in an investigation. Um, if they open doors that you don't know are opening, you think you're talking to a random spirit. You're not. You just might have opened up a door to hell and set loose a demon that No matter how many times you say goodbye and all that bullshit with the figure eight on the board, you're never going to close that door. Um, I mean, I've had experiences where I've had my hair pulled when I had hair. um, Something yelled in my ear, "Fuck you," real loud in my ear, and and then I look over and there's a fucking tuft of hair laying on my shirt from my head. Yeah, we burned that fucking board. This is back when I was 17. Um, yeah, I've used them. I will never use them in an investigation. I probably won't even touch one now, even not investigating. Hey, Dana. Fuck you. You knew me when I had hair, asshole. All right, what else we got? Damn, dude, you brought up that question about fucking demons and demonic, and it's just got my head fucking going. See, Rochelle remembers when I had hair. She can attest. I had that huge fucking Dago fro when I was a senior in high school. Hey, Susie. Yeah, if anybody knows, because like I said, I've been trying to research this for the better part of 6 months, and I've gotten absolutely nowhere with it. And if anybody knows any kind of book, site, expert that would give me some kind of clarity on that, you know, please either, if you know it offhand, throw it down in the comments, please. If you have an idea and you come up with it later, shoot me a message in Messenger. You know, like I said, this is when I get something in my head, it stays there until I figure it out, and it's one of them things that just has not left me. Yeah, Herschel Bloom days. That's right. Could but not hear. Oh, no, you're talking about what I just asked about knowing somebody or something about where I'm able to research that. Is that what you're talking about, Joe? And for everybody who's just coming on now, Jamie Mehall is actually Joe. For some reason, he's not using his phone or whatever. I have, Linda. I mean, have I ever reached out to any scholars about it, like at local universities? I have. I've reached out to a couple priests. Um, my next step would actually try to reach out to. The speakers are shot. Okay. Hey, Brad, how you doing? Hey, Roxy. My next step, I'm probably going to try and reach out to the head chaplain at University of Notre Dame. Maybe be able to get an audience with him. Even a Skype chat would help. But yeah, I've reached out to people and nobody can. I mean, you ask any theologian that question and they look at you like a deer in the fucking headlights. Like that's something they'd never thought about before. And then my question to them is like, this is your area of expertise. You've gone to school for this shit. You've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn this. And you have never come up with this question in your head? Dude, I got a high school fucking education. You know, and it's been eating the shit out of me. Ever since Joe brought that shit up, it's been eating at me. You know, so like I said, once I get shit handled here, um, I'm probably going to try and reach out to the head chaplain at Notre Dame. If I can't get an audience with him, then I'll try with one of the area cardinals. You know, I mean, a theological professor at a university really isn't going to answer my question. He can answer on theories and shit like that. Something like that is more faith based, and I would like to hear one of their opinions on it and how they would explain that. You know, a theologian is going to quote books that he's read. He's not gonna. They're not going to speak, on faith, and they're not going to speak on, doctrine and stuff like that. So, here's the answer: nobody will tell you. And what is it? Hey, Tracy. See, this is cool. Let's kind of turn this into Q&A to it is what it is. Huh. Basically, Marianne, you're saying it is what it is as a believe it because that's what is written, correct? Okay. The idea of Jesus is commercial. I do not deny he existed, but his hopes were that he was to be remembered. Kind of like things you do in everyday life. You say, "Oh God, I sound like my dad." Same thing. He wants to be remembered, not worshipped. So you're close. Yeah, I definitely say you're close on that one, Joe. Um, I never believed his intentions were to be worshipped. I believe his intentions were to have everybody act in the way God would want them to act. So basically, worship God. I believe those are his intentions, not to be worshipped like him, you know. Um, but again, as far as like the miracles and stuff like that, that you'd have to go on blind faith for that. Um, some majority of people are and do go on blind faith for that. You know, but basically, yeah. I mean, if you were to go by his teachings, it wasn't worship me. It was act in the good way. That's the simplest way I can put it. So, I agree with you 100% on that. The rest after that is all the business of religion. Yeah, big business. Catholic Church, largest fucking bank in the world, largest fucking landowners in the world. Okay? Like I said, I don't have a problem with Christianity. I don't have a problem with Catholicism. I have a problem with clergy and the business of the Catholic Church. That's the problem I have. My family and I have experienced plenty of things with the Catholic Church to give me that problem. It's unfortunate because it does cut into faith. You know, how are you going to have faith in this in this religion and faith in these teachings if it's strictly money driven? But yeah, which I mean, or is that crazy saying that the only reason we die is because we accept it as an inevitability? Well, again, anything can be a fucking saying. You know, uh, we die because we fucking expire. That's it. I mean, that's whatever. But yeah. But again, I mean, it's going back to that question. Of the whole free will and angels and all that. I can't get anybody to or find anything or anybody to be able to explain that. You know, and like I said, Marianne commented, "It is what it is." Well, I'm sorry, I can't accept that. It is what it is. It's just too. It's cold outside. It is what it is. Yeah, fine. Okay, it's cold. It's the way. Yeah, it's cold. That's the way it is. But this is on a whole different level. You know, this is how do you expect us to have faith in this? Now, when I talk faith, I talk. Mm, people throw that word around a lot, and it's actually a strong word. You know, when you have faith in something, that's something that you depend on that. Okay, if I'm supposed to depend on these teachings, and yes, there's a lot of gray area in these teachings, and there is stuff that you just have to believe blindly, but not something like that. What's going on, Johnny? You know, because that was that part of the Bible and that part of the teachings was just as pivotal as the teachings on Jesus. You know, because humans, we were made in God's image. We were given free will. The only thing that keeps us apart from the angels. Okay? So I can't just accept that it is what it is, you know? And I just can't go on blind faith with that. That's me, you know? And I don't mean any disrespect, Marianne, at all. you know. But it's something that's a little touchier, a little stronger for me than most, I guess. I don't know. What's up, John? This is like a little Q&A thing going on. Comments, questions, stuff like that. If you wanna drop us one, um, or two or 12, whatever. We've been touching on some pretty deep shit. You know, I'm kind of happy the way this little podcast turned out. You know, people really really good questions and really really good interactions. So again, the reason why Joe's not here is honestly this was quite out of the blue. I just had a wild hair at my ass and decided, you know what, fuck, I'm just gonna go live when I'm at home. You know, I was by Joe's house today for his daughter's birthday and never even thought about it. I was in the car on the way home. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So here I am. And Joe is a part of this, by the way. I mean, he's logged in under his wife's name, Jamie Mihal. He is a part of this. So, who the fuck threw up a fucking angry face? Absolutely no disrespect to anyone. Please believe you want and feel how you want. There is 100% no judgment at all. Exactly. Exactly. We do not shun anybody for whatever beliefs they have. You know, you think how you want, you believe how you want, you are an individual, and you will be just as respected as somebody who, as anybody. But I'm still really curious to know who threw up that angry face. Okay. I don't know who. All right. All right. Anybody got anything else to touch on? Anything to add? I mean, this is a great conversation, guys. A great conversation. John, anything? You were talking my fucking ear off last night, man. What's up? Yeah. All right, so nobody's got nothing else? Anything you want to touch on, Joe? How can you tell if a spirit is good or bad? And do I think we've come close to a portal yet? All right. There we go. All right, Rochelle, I'm going to answer Joe's question first because he knows exactly what the fuck I'm going to say. Um, have we come close to a portal yet? Yeah. Hell's Gate over at St. Michael the Archangel, that tomb. Yeah, that was something, man. Holy shit. Completely different feel now, though. But you couldn't even walk up to it. Someone told you ghost hunting was a sin. Would I stop? Great question. I will hit that too. Um, yeah, that tomb over at St. Michael the Archangel Cemetery. Shit. You couldn't even walk up to it. Even with all the ambient light that was around it, it was pitch black inside. You couldn't even see in there. It was crazy. Um, yes, Linda, he's talking about a portal to hell. Um, yeah, first time, first time Joe took me there, it was with him and Jamie, and we pulled up. It was nighttime. You walk in on the west side of the cemetery. You come up this path, maybe about 20 feet, 30 feet. And on the right hand side, there's this concrete tomb. Had a wrought iron gate in front, and there's light around, but no light is getting past this gate. Everything inside was completely pitch black. You couldn't see anything. And I was probably about 20 feet away from the tomb. I started taking a couple steps, and it actually felt like somebody's put a palm right in my chest, like, and I was stuck. Couldn't even walk up to it. The feeling of just sheer dread, you know, and not even you're scared, but you move on and all that, you get brave, all that shit. No, I don't give a shit who you are. At that particular time, you were not going up to that fucking gate. Wasn't going to happen. No matter how strong willed you were, no matter how strong of a person you are, so Nick, you just, it didn't even feel like it was danger. You know how you walk into a place and you kind of realize that, oh shit, I'm kind of in danger being here, but you're able to still kind of function. This was just completely on another level. It was just straight fear, cold fear. Like your entire body just fucking went cold. It was awful. I had the worst feeling I've ever had in my life. Um, so yeah, do I think we've ever come across any portals? Yes, that one. Um, yeah, it was definitely an overwhelming nope. Oh shit. Okay, Rochelle, how can we tell if a spirit is good or bad? You'll know. Plain and simple. You will know. Um, it depends on how sensitive you are to this type of stuff. Um, You definitely, once you realize something is there, if it's negative, you'll know. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's a whole different vibe. I mean, even the good spirits, or or the neutral spirits, or however the hell you want to refer to them as. A lot of them like to use your energy, so you might get drained and shit like that. But that's completely normal. I mean, they all do that. The evil ones, the bad ones, those are the ones that make you sick to your stomach. You know, it yeah, starts smelling rotten eggs. Or something awful. Um, yeah, I know it's not the best answer, but that's the only answer I have for that is that's it. Um, Marianne, if someone told you ghost hunting was a sin, would I stop? No, because shit. Excuse me. Okay. If someone told me ghost hunting was a sin, would I stop? No, I would not. Um, because for one, the only one, the only type of people that could for sure tell me paranormal investigation was a sin are clergy, a priest. Honestly, I don't give a shit what a priest has to say to me. I don't. He's a man just like I am. Okay, just because he went through schooling and took some vows doesn't make him any different than me. All right, he doesn't know that I honestly believe I was called to this, you know? And who is he to dispute um, what God what God tells me to do? I mean, and yes, and people could make the argument to where the devil could be acting as God telling me to do it. I don't know, but I'm not going to go by the word of another man. It's just the way it is. I mean, I honestly don't believe there's a lot of priests out there that are actually priests because they were truly called to the priesthood. I believe the majority of them became priests to escape something else in their life. That's funny, Joe. Um, like I was saying, you know, um, so these guys that would even tell me that, you know, are just as flawed as I am, if not more. You know, I mean, if you're running away to the priesthood to get away from something that you've either done or escape a situation you've put yourself into or whatever, well, guess what, buddy? I already have one up on you. And I don't need your opinion to, I don't need your approval to do this. I don't. So, and yeah, Joe made a funny comment. Where does it say in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not hunt spookies? It doesn't. We're not worshiping other gods. We're not idolizing anything. You know, I mean, if anything, we're trying to find proof of that. Of the beyond, and I don't see what the problem is. So, after having these feelings or fear of dread, what compels you to keep investigating the paranormal? Exactly that, Linda. You know, um, there has to be more out there after this is done. We we can't be we can't be just flesh, bone, and carbon material. There has to be something else. The amount of passion the human being has, it can't just be this little infinitesimal speck of time that we have on this earth. There's got to be more out there. There's got to be more after this. And that's what compels me to keep going with this, to find it, to prove it. You know, I mean, yeah, we're going to come across some fucked up stuff, and we're willing and ready to do that. But if it proves there's something bigger and better after this life, and it gives people hope, gives me hope, and that's what I'll do. That's what we do. So, and honestly, I think it's cool as shit too. So, yeah, I got a little deep. Sorry. But Marianne, did I answer your questions? Answers. What? I'm confused, Joe. Yeah, Marianne, did I answer your question? Hey, Kim. How you doing, doll? God damn, smoking the guy again. Yes, that's why we keep doing this, for answers. Technically, paranormal is a form of science, and there is science that says the body is a big ball of energy. Energy does not die, it just changes form and flow. 100% correct, sir. Yes, we are scientists, paranormal physicists. That's what we ought to change our YouTube name to, the paranormal physicists. There we go. Hey, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you want to jump on this too or what? See, I love this. What we're doing here, I absolutely love it. Great conversation, fascinating conversation. You know, theories left and right. I like this. This is cool. Can I be Doctor Evil? You make a time machine. Anything else? Linda, you've come up with a few gems on these questions, girl. Good job. Nicely done. Marianne, you too. Rochelle, Another one. Hell, Eddie Moore. Shit, I'll go all night if you guys keep going. I don't care. Hey, look, I missed. All right. I'll give it a few more minutes. Nobody's got anything else. Linda, definitely. One more. Awesome. What type of training or research did you do before starting your investigations? Honestly, probably the one of the best research tools out there is YouTube. Um, only on, to be honest with you, only on like investigation procedure type stuff. Um, but it's just a lot of reading, you know. Um, a lot of reading on spiritualism and um, just paranormal books, you know, like the not not like the ghost stories or all that bullshit. I'm talking like actual, like theory and stuff like that, and then honestly, we just it's kind of throw ourselves into it, and there's really no better teacher than experience. I mean, you can go to school for 5 years to become a plumber, and then you get your first job, you can't lay a single fucking pipe. It just takes experience to do that. Yeah, trial by fire. That's about right. All right, guys. Yet again, an amazing Q&A. This was good. Linda, you got to participate more often. You have some damn good questions. Rochelle, you too. Marianne, you too. Um, I thank everybody for logging on and being a part of this hour and a half worth of a podcast. Um, yeah, I think I'll definitely move this to. I'll be posting this on YouTube. So our YouTube is Fourth Kind Paranormal Profiles. Um, check it out. Subscribe. Hit the bell icon and all that good stuff. So you know when we got posted stuff. To the people who are actually really new to this whole thing that we're doing, all of our investigations is done live on Facebook. Um, we have recently created a YouTube channel, and our investigations will be posted on YouTube as well, just like our podcasts are and our Q&As and all that good stuff. Um, honestly, we did that because we're able to better archive our videos. We lost one of our best investigations, the video of our one of our best investigations and we're not going to do that again. It's going to go directly to YouTube, as soon as I get back to the house. But every investigation is done live. Again, anybody's welcome to join us. But we do ask for, professionalism and respect for what we're dealing with. So, again, I want to thank everybody for jumping on, and I had a good time doing it. I'm glad I decided to do this tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And we'll see you on the flip side. You guys have a good night. Thank you.